Hello, crypto world. Welcome to the Chart Historian. My name is Justin, and on this channel, I delve deep into crypto charts, exploring chart structures, fractals, and patterns. Well, I have the Casper chart open, and look what has materialized on this chart, a bounce. Now, I predicted this bounce would take place. Here is a clip of it. I believe we should expect in the coming days for Casper to do this bounce right here. So that's what I'm looking for on Casper. Now, this is on a day candle chart, so it may take some time for it to materialize, whereas if we jump back to the beginning, this was on an hour candle, which was a much faster rendition of this overall structure. So today's Casper is moving at a much slower pace than it did in the very beginning of its conception. So here we are back at today's chart. So we will see how this plays out, but that is my prediction. It will move up and do a bounce. This could be the beginning of it. We'll have to see how that develops, but it should be happening soon. So let's jump over to CoinTrader Pro, where today's chart was being compared against that fractal. Okay, so here we are using CoinTrader Pro. Let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of that prediction. So you see that bounce really did play out fairly closely to what the original fractal suggested it would. In here, I suggested that it could potentially be starting. Now, it took longer to get into that bounce than what I mentioned, where it could potentially be starting. I said we'll have to see how it plays out. Well, that took a little longer to play out, but once it started, it played out very nicely. So let's jump back to the very beginning of this chart. The macro structure at the very beginning is key to the Casper chart. It played out in a very short amount of time. So using CoinTrader Pro, we can go back to the very beginning on a 1 hour candle and examine that structure. So these boxes represent different fractals that the greater structure, the macro structure, is made up of. So here is the original move up. Here's the decline that takes place after. This is the range-bound time that exists in between the decline from the bull run and the next bull run. So we are currently here. This is where I pulled my data from. This is what allowed me to make that prediction. So here we have a bounce. Now this fractal, this structure repeated again, also on a small time frame over here, and this is another iteration of this bounce. So here is that sideways range-bound time that exists after the decline and before the next bull run. So as you can see, they're both similar structures. They do have some differences, and that is due to the timing, height, and depth being unique. So every time a fractal repeats the timing, the height, and the depth, they're always going to be original, which can lead to a original appearance. However, the structure should be repeating, which we do see in these cases. So what happens next? Well, we have two possibilities. So here is possibility one. Price will move sideways, and then eventually, near the end of the fractal, it will potentially do a fairly sudden drop or quick drop. I don't know how the timing would play out with this, but it would go flat and then potentially drop. Option two is that it doesn't go flat, but instead just kind of slowly winds its way down to a point before moving into the next fractal, which is a much larger bounce. So those are the two options: either go flat and sideways and then decline, or just a steady, slow decline that brings it to that point. Let's jump to TradingView on today's chart. So here is my prediction for what comes next. Casper will either do one of two options. It will either go sideways and then drop before entering into the next fractal, or it will wind its way down kind of in a slow motion process to a point before entering into the next fractal. So this could take some time to play out, as today's chart is moving much slower and is much bigger than the original structure that played out on a much shorter time frame. So we'll have to see how this prediction plays out. Again, either go flat and sideways and then drop, or just slowly kind of work its way down to a point before entering into the third and final fractal before the bull run. So there you have it, folks. That's my prediction. Let's see how it plays out. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But if you did find this video interesting, it'd be much appreciated if you hit that thumbs up button. You know, this type of technical analysis is original. There's no one else doing this. This is something that I discovered. I take fractals, patterns, and structures, and I delve deep into them. There is other technical analysis that uses fractals, but it is in a much more rudimentary way. Fractals and chart structures, they have much more to offer than what the conventional technical analysis uses. You know, one other thing about this technical analysis is that this type of technical analysis, and this is a huge difference between me and standard TA. This type of technical analysis has the ability to look forward into the future. It has the ability to project forward what will happen in the future, whereas the conventional technical analysis, it's a reactionary thing. It's reacting to what it is doing, and here are the possibilities. It could go up, it could go down, it could go sideways. So that is a key difference. So if you did find this TA interesting, I recommend hitting that subscribe button. Also, hitting that subscribe button may help you find me easier, as I am a new channel. Well, I'm so glad you caught this video. I hope you catch my next one. Have a great day, and bye for now.